Hello friends, and welcome back to Perfectly Imperfect Designs. If you are new, thank you for joining me. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back by. Today I'm going to make a Memorial Day wreath with this wooden sign that says "Freedom Ain't Free." Of course, it's the navy and red, white, and blue. A 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath form. I have 18 pipe cleaners for the wreath frame. And speaking of the wreath frame, I'm going to be using a 14-inch wire wreath form that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. The mesh that I'm going to be using today is this border stripe metallic mesh, red, white, and blue, along with just the red with the white stripes, Deco mesh. These are the two rolls of mesh that I will be using. My ribbons today are going to be a trio of these three 1.5-inch patriotic ribbons. I just have the navy blue, white with the red stripes, and then on top I have the flag ribbon, United States flag ribbon. So let's get started. And I also need to include scissors, a rotary cutter, and wire snippers. And you will want a zip tie to tie your bow with, or you can just use a pipe cleaner. So let's get started with the wreath frame. Again, this is a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath form. The way that I put these, there's 6 sections on this wreath form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each section is between these crossbars right here. And every section will have the pipe cleaners or Chanel stems, whatever you choose to call them, the same in each section all the way around the wreath. So I'll start on this side. I'm going to wrap it around these first 2 wires right here, first 2 rungs. Probably know them as wires. I wrap it around 2 so that I'll have better hold. So you put 2 on those and push it in. Then I'm going to put 2 on the outside in the same section. These pipe cleaners are super thick. You can use any color pipe cleaners that you have. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be visible. Okay. So here we go. Every section will have 1 Chanel stem on these 2 bars. And every section will have 1 Chanel stem on these outside 2 bars. We're going to do the same thing to every section. And then our wreath frame will be ready. Okay, when you complete putting the Chanel stems on your wreath frame, it should look like this. 3 in every section of your wreath form. 1 on the inside, 2 on the outside. Let's cut the mesh. Okay, you guys, both of our rolls of mesh are made the same. They're just 2 different colors. I will have the link down below for both kinds of mesh and where I purchased them from. So I'm just going to start my mesh out on the 1 line, of course. And we're going to be cutting this into 20-inch pieces. If you have a self-healing mat, like this mat here, you can use a rotary cutter. If you do not have a rotary cutter or a mat, just go ahead and use scissors and however you measure. Could be tape measure, whatever you have around your house. Measure your pieces into 20-inch strips. And I have a hard time cutting through this with my rotary cutter. I know it's time to change the blade. So I will just use the scissors for whatever I can't get it to cut. So just cut all of your strips into 20-inch pieces. Now I'm going to have 9, excuse me, I'm going to have 9 with the red, white, and blue border stripes. And I'm going to have 9 with just the red and white border stripes. Okay, you guys, I ended up having to cut my mesh with the scissors. I've got to replace my rotary blade. Okay, friends, so you have your piece of mesh. Put a rock on one end. You just curl both ends, either end, like 1, 2. Doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. I like for my rolls to face up. Some people put them down. And so this side, once again, 2 or 3 curls, whatever you're comfortable with. Walk your fingers up, trying really hard to stay in the middle. Pinch it and put it down on your wreath frame. You can start anywhere you want to. I just usually start on the outside and work my way to the inside. Just the way I've always done it. And then kind of stand up your ruffle. We're going to be alternating the red, white, and blue and just the white stripe mesh. So for the next one, and of course you guys won't watch me put every single ruffle on here. I'm just giving you, showing you if you don't know how to make a woodland ruffle or a cruffle. This is what you do. Again, all my mesh pieces are cut to 20 inches. And I did end up having to use the scissors because it's time to replace my rotary blade. So if you do not have a rotary blade and a self-healing mat, just use scissors. It'll all work out the same. Excuse me. Put this one down in and tie it up. Okay, stand your curls up against each other, just like I have here. Keep your pipe cleaners visible where you know where they're going to be. We're going to do one more together. I'm going to start down here. We're starting out with about 1.5 to 2 rolls. Turn it around, place your rock down here, and do the same to the other end. Now, just walk your fingers up to where the clothespin is, or whatever you're using for a clip. Pick up your ruffle. Now we're moving on to the next pipe cleaner on the outside. Put it down in there. And tie it up. I like to stand my ruffles up next to each other so they're visible. My pipe cleaners are showing. Scoot this one here down a bit. You guys, the reason why I put these pipe cleaners on 2 wires, it just makes it much more secure this way. And it's a good idea to stop and check and make sure you haven't skipped any pipe cleaners. Moving on to the red with blue and white stripes. Okay, hopefully you guys get the ruffle. You have the ruffle down pat. This is called, of course, the woodland ruffle or cruffle. And I'm going to be alternating all the way around the outside of the wreath. And we will move on when I get done. So again, this is our final ruffle for the outside of the wreath. Make sure you have it tied in there pretty good. Then you might want to go around and check and make sure that you did not skip any pipe cleaners. And a good way to do that is just to turn your wreath over. You can tell which ones, all of the ones on the outside of my wreath have been used. So now we're going to move on to the 6 pipe cleaners in the inside. Then we will add the sign and make a bow. So to get started on the inside, just take your ruffle again. This can be referred to as a woodland ruffle or cruffle. And just roll it up on this side. Guys, let me know where you're from. If you're from the United States or elsewhere, just leave me a comment, tell me your name, and where you live at. I know that not all my subscribers live in the United States. And of course, I'm making a red, white, and blue wreath for the United States for Memorial Day. Well, it's for my door, but we have Memorial Day in the States, the last weekend in May. Where we honor all of our veterans and people that are in the armed services. Okay, so see how I put this in the middle? Now I'm just going to do the same thing I did to the outside and put them on the 6 inside ties, which I only have 6 left. And I'll be back after I complete these, and we will put the ribbons on, the sign, and make a bow. Okay, then you just want to go around your wreath, make sure all your pipe cleaners are standing up. And your ruffles are standing up against each other. I like to do this about now, so that when I go back in with my ribbon, it is no problem getting to the pipe cleaners. You really want to make sure you don't skip any. And all of my ribbon trio today is going to be used in every pipe cleaner going around. So here is the base of our wreath. So the ribbon choices that I have right now for my trio of ribbons again is the navy blue, the white with the red threading on both sides, and my flag ribbon, United States flag ribbon. So what I do is I fold these in half to find the center. Open it up, scrunch it together in the middle, go to the pipe cleaner that you want to start with, and lay your ribbons down in here. And twist them in. I usually wait till the end, but for now, I'm just going to start spreading out my ribbons. Just like this, just fan them out. Now I know for sure I'm going to use my flag ribbon on my outside ruffles. I'm not absolutely positive that I will be using my flag ribbon for the inside. I don't like to cut the pipe cleaners off until the very end because I don't know, as far as embellishments, what I'm going to put on here. So I'm going to leave those and move on to the next. This is my trio of ribbons, of course, that I'm putting in every single pipe cleaner. Open it up, scrunch it in the middle. Move to your next pipe cleaner, which is right here. And lay it down in there. Of course, you just want to find the center so that when you fan out your ribbon tails, they're the same. They're the same length on both sides. So for now, I'm just adding the trio of ribbons to all the pipe cleaners on the very outside of the wreath form. So I'm going to continue adding the ribbon to the outside pipe cleaners only. And then I want to place the sign on here and see what's going to be covered up and what isn't. Because there's no sense in putting ribbon down if I'm going to cover it with a sign. So I'll be back after I complete putting the ribbon on the outside of the wreath. Okay, I'm coming up to the last trio of ribbons on the outside of the wreath. Again, just pinching them in the middle, kind of bending it a bit. And move on to our last pipe cleaner. Well, thought we had one last one. Maybe I did them all. That's perfectly okay. Let me check real quick just to make sure they're all in here. And I still have not cut my pipe cleaners down. And again, what I do when I get finished with the wreath is go around the entire wreath, make sure all my ribbons are fanned out. Okay, I'm just going to put this trio of ribbons inside of a clothespin to keep it nice for now because I do not see any outside pipe cleaners that I have missed. And we're going to try the sign on for size. You know, because if I've got ribbons everywhere, I'm not going to cover them with the sign. I just won't add the ribbons right there. Okay, so this is, let me grab the wreath sign. Here's the wreath sign. Absolutely love it. Let's see, where am I going to put my bow? I think I'm going to put my sign on the top. As you can see, I've already applied my pipe cleaner attachments on the back. I just taped it down so they wouldn't be flopping everywhere and in the way. So I have my 4 zip tie mounts right here, only I'm using them with pipe cleaners. I'm going to remove this jute cord and use it as our wreath hanger. So let's go ahead and get the sign on and make our bow, and then whatever ribbon tails that we need from there, we will get. Okay, so for me to get my sign on, I use one of these plastic darning needles. They're for yarn. Just makes it easier for me to go straight through my mesh. I attach it to my needle. Now I'm just going to go down straight through my mesh. And tie it to the wreath frame. Now you guys, you do not want your sign all pushed in, whatever sign that you're working with. You don't want it to sink down in there. You just kind of want it to float on the top. So I always go corner, catty-cornered corner. That's how I always apply my sign. Of course, I do not tie it all the way down until I know for sure that I'm going to want it where I'm placing it. So again, I'm just going to go down into the mesh. You never want to tie your sign to your mesh. Always make sure you are tying it on make sure you're tying it on to one of the bars on the frame itself. Okay, I've got those 4 on. Come around this side and get this one attached. And I'm going to go straight through my mesh. Now, like I said, I do not permanently put down my sign placement until I get it on here and decide, yes, I do like it here. So I'm going to come up underneath here. I do not want to turn my wreath over at this point. And I don't want my wreath sign too tight. Give it a couple twists around one of the bars. Again, on this side, making sure it's even but not smashed. You guys, I do make wreath signs. They are available down in the description box. You can follow the link to my Etsy shop where I have wreath signs and ribbon kits, or just wreath signs, whatever you're looking for. And listen, you guys, I'm going to go around the wreath form and make sure that anything that is visible, any pipe cleaners that are visible, have ribbons in them. And if there's a certain kind of wreath that you guys would like to see me make, please let me know down in the description box, and I would be happy to make it. You know I love to make crosses, but maybe you want to see something else. Okay, so for the pipe cleaners, when I cut them off, I just make sure it's tight all the way. You know, you want to make sure it's really, really tight. And then I just take my wire cutters, cut it off, and then this 1/2 inch of the pipe cleaner, I just bend it back. Okay, you guys, I have the bow maker out. You're going to need a pipe cleaner, and I'm using an 8-inch zip tie. Use whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm adding this 2.5-inch ribbon into the bow. I want my tails about 8.5 inches. Okay, you guys, I have my pipe cleaner and my zip tie. I'm going to put my zip tie up underneath all of my loops. Pull it up. I'm using an 8-inch zip tie. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. Get a hold of it, pull it up off there. Pinch your bow down in the middle so it stays where you want it. And you want the clip for the zip tie in the back. I do a lot of my bow fluffing after I get the bow on our wreath. Okay, so here for the back. You don't want to pull it tight yet, because you got to be able to get a pipe cleaner up underneath here. Get your pipe cleaner up underneath here so you will have something to tie your bow to your wreath. Scissors. I'm going to be placing the bow right underneath the sign. I'm not covering the sign, but I do want it right underneath. And I don't want it to look like it's jumping off the bottom. May add a little something up here, not sure yet. But to get my bow on, I do the exact same thing that I did with the sign. Wrap it around my darning needle. Go into the mesh. This keeps your bow more stable too. Okay, I have all my tails to dovetail still. The bow is on the wreath. Ours are not, but for now I'm going to start dovetailing the tails. And the way that you do that, not exactly sure how long I want my tails to start out with. Making sure I have the right tails on the right side. I am going to dovetail these, folded in half, wire sides touching. Start on the fold and cut up. I like it about that length, so again, the 2.5 ribbon, I'm doing this, or the 1.5 inch ribbon, doing the same thing. Okay, we have the bow on. I do have some red, white, and blue roses I was thinking about adding. Because again, this is a Memorial Day wreath. So the bow is on. Let's move on. Okay, you guys, I have the bow on. I changed up my bow tails, decided not to dovetail them and cut them on a slant. All of my bow ribbons are cut on a slant. So, hey, please like and subscribe. If you hit the like button, it really helps me out on YouTube and my video gets shown more. If you go down to the description box and hit more, everything about this video is written out for you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It really means a lot to me. And I really like the way the wreath turned out. my beautiful Freedom Ain't Free Memorial Day wreath. Thanks, you guys, bunches.